How will a 10% cap on credit cards have a huge negative effect on you buying a home? I'm going to explain from my chair here as almost 15-year loan officer why this could absolutely kill home affordability right after this. All right, guys, here we are. We're going to talk about what I think is a great idea when I first heard it: cap the credit card interest rates at 10%. But here's my hypothetical. This is what will happen next. From my perspective of being a loan officer for almost 15 years, if you don't know me, don't know the channel, my name is Ryan Skaggs, and this is the Mortgage Minute channel. I put together videos on everything real estate, mortgage, and interest rates. So today, I want to talk about my hypothetical path. So here's what I first see happening is this gets put into place, which I don't think it will, but this gets put into place. And then capitalism at its finest, Discover Card, Visa, this, that, these Capital One is going to look at it and say, well, we offset some of the risk of not getting paid back by offering 35% credit cards. If we can't offset that risk, we're going to lower your maximum allowable credit line. So that credit card that might had a $5,000 credit limit will go down to a $2,000 credit limit, let's say, for example. Now, let's understand how credit scores are derived, because this change could have a drastic negative effect on borrowers and consumers and Americans all across the country. So I'm bringing up a model here behind me from FICO. So there's always different scoring models and different information, but as a whole, your payment history is 35%. Your outstanding debt is 30% of your total score. Your credit history or length, 15%. Pursuit of new credit, 10%. And then a mix of credit, meaning installment loans, credit cards, maybe mortgages, all kinds of different stuff, another 10%. We're going to highlight this number 2, outstanding debt, or credit utilization. And if you have a $5,000 credit card and you're only using $2,000 of it, let's just say you had that one card, you're using 40% of your available credit. If that credit company comes down and brings down your ceiling and caps you at that 2K mark, you now have a maxed out credit card. You're paying less, 10% interest rate is the cap, right? With that said, you're going to have a maxed out credit card, right? I can't just repeat this over and over. Your credit utilization is now going to be 100% of your available credit. Your credit score will go down. You're going to pay more for debt. You're going to pay more in buying a house. You're going to pay more for your next car loan. You're going to pay more for every single thing you do in your life if that hypothetical scenario happens. So I'd love to hear from you. Do you think that could happen? What are some other ways that or what other scenarios could happen? Let's just say a Capital One, Discover, whatever else credit card, they're just okay with making less money. Do you think that's going to happen? Because I don't. Do you think that if they've just capped out at 10%, that they're going to charge higher fees or maybe have annual fees or something like that? Yeah, that could happen, but there's also a lot of mechanisms in place to be able to protect consumers from some of these fees. So with that said, if you have a free credit card, I think your limit's going down. Like, I'm going to slide my money across the table and bet you if they put this in place. I just saw an article that Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan Chase at a Davos World Economic Summit, said that they should try it in 2 states, which happens to be the 2 states for Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. But with that said, that really wouldn't have that could be a model of what could happen to the US. But again, until we start affecting the bottom line of these credit card companies by hundreds of millions of dollars, that's when we're going to potentially see change. And I think that change would be lowering your credit line, and thus you're going to have a much higher credit utilization, which, as I mentioned, is 30% of your credit score. So from someone that sees credit reports every single day in my mortgage office, what I typically tell people right up front is if we're close to that next threshold or we need to get some increase in their credit score, is like, hey, try not to use as much of your credit card. And I'll give you an example. If you had a $2,000 credit card and you spend $2,000 per month, if you spent $500 and then paid it off, and then spent $500 and paid it off, spent $500, paid it off, spent $500, and then you got your statement would show $500 on a $2,000 line credit card. You'd be using, let's do the math together, 25% of your available credit line, but you still spent this same $2,000 in the month. Your credit score would likely go up, because in my original scenario, I talked about, having that $2,000 credit card on a $5,000 limit, you're at 40. But if you paid it weekly, but still let the statement cycle with some sort of payment with a low credit utilization, that will likely push your credit score up, assuming you've made on-time payments, assuming you've done other things, assuming you haven't opened up a lot of new credit. So that is my hypothesis on why at arm's length, it makes sense. I love the concept of trying to make things more affordable for your average American, more affordable homes, more affordable credit card payments, whatever it may be. But I think this is going to just be a slap across the face if this ever comes to fruition. So I'd love to hear your comments below. Click that subscribe button, putting out videos again on everything mortgage, real estate, and interest rates. So let's stay connected, and we'll chat soon down in the comment section.